Okay. I admit it. I'd been ragging on my sister Janet all week. Sometimes she really bugs me. Her with all her pots and potions, lotions and whatnot. A girl can only be so pretty and Jan is just naturally gorgeous anyway, which is what bothers me, I guess. She takes so much time trying to enhance what she's already been given. She's a year older than me, but I'll be 16 soon. Janet could never wear makeup and she'd still be a boy magnet, you know? People say we sure look a lot alike too. That kind of bothers me. Does she look like me or do I look like her? On the other hand, Mom and Dad had been at it tooth and nail and pretty much over the same thing where Mom was concerned. She was a cheerleader in college, so you know she was and is pretty, and this past Sunday when we all went out to dinner, Dad got on her case about holding us up. They were still at it at breakfast on Monday. Just one look at Mom and I could tell she was fed up. It wasn't exactly what she said, but how she said it. Tuesday when I got home from school, Mom had a present for me, or US I guess. I loved rock and roll, especially the oldies from the 70s, and she had scored a whole bag full of tapes from a garage sale, so she said. I just know how much you like that group Culture Club, she said, so I found 2 of those and put them on top of the stack. Just work your way down. I think you'll like them. Wow. Thanks, Mom. This is great, I replied, and took the stack of tapes to my room to study my homework. I always played music in the background when I was studying anyway. So I slipped the first one in the player and settled back with economics. By the time the first side was over, I was probably asleep, but I heard Mom call me for dinner. She and Dad were listening to one of the tapes too. I think it was the Moody Blues. That's a really distinctive flute. At dinner, the conversation took the usual turns. Nothing major. Jack, would it hurt you to take a little care of that mop of yours? You haven't washed it since last Friday, said Mom. Oh, all right. I'll wash it. We were all speaking civilly to one another and discussed the day's events as was the custom. We were still being entertained by the new tapes as I went back to my room to finish my homework, where I continued with the second tape. This was great stuff and, according to Mom, almost free. Well, I vowed to not miss a one of them until I'd listened to all 15. It looked like she had another 15 she had saved for Dad and her to listen to also. I did go in to take a shower and wash my hair in Janet's and my adjoining bathroom after I'd been listening to the second one for a while. I even used Jan's conditioner on it, and when I blew it dry, it did look better, but something just wasn't quite right, so I took my brush and back-combed it a little for body, and then I tied it back up in a ponytail somewhat off my neck. There, that looks better, I thought. And then it hit me, Jack, what the heck did you do that for? Well, because it looks nicer, I guess. Oh, okay. Mom was effusive in her praise of my hair all of a sudden. It did look shiny and full. It appeared Dad had taken the hint too, and while he didn't have enough length for a long ponytail like mine yet, his looked nice and full and shiny too, sort of fluffy, I suppose you'd say, with a blunt cut at the back. I'd never been a fan of big hair, but I guess a little extra body was okay. It looked nice on him. That night after the 10 o'clock news, I shut down my little 13-inch TV and turned on the new tapes again and put it on continuous loop. I'd gotten used to playing music while I slept. Actually, Mom had always used the radio to help me sleep when I was little, and I'd grown accustomed to it. Now that I'm going on 16, I find I still like a soothing sound to fall asleep to. She did the same thing with Janet. That first night, I played more rock and roll and drifted off to awaken to Jim Croce. When I got dressed for school, rather than just grab my hair and put it into a rubber band, I brushed it out, fluffed it up a little and borrowed one of Jan's black scrunchies. There, that's better, I thought with some satisfaction. As I was looking at myself in the mirror, maybe I should get an earring, huh? Maybe two. Yeah, that might be cool. What are you thinking, Jack? Two? Yeah, maybe. I noticed a couple of Dad's blemishes missing as we ate and asked about them. Oh, yes. Thanks for noticing, Jack. I decided to use some of your mom's stuff on them. Look okay? Yeah, Dad, nice. Makes you look a little younger. I'd never thought about wanting to look nicer much. I mean, guys just do minimal stuff, but just then they noticed my hair. Jack, your hair looks great. What have you done? Asked Mom. Just gave it a little body, Mom. Does it really look okay? Definitely an improvement, son. Keep it up. I suppose it's not too much trouble. Doesn't take 20 seconds to do it. Okay. A couple of the girls noticed my hair at school that day and complimented me on it. I found that I liked getting compliments. How strange. And compliments about my hair was even stranger, however, beggars, etc. Other than that, Thursday was pretty much of a repeat of Wednesday in all respects right up through dinner and after. We didn't watch much TV and listen to the rock and roll tapes again, and I did again overnight. I felt really well rested the next morning, almost ambitious, and when I was doing my hair I'm afraid I put a little more back combing in it and spritzed it with a lanolin spray of Janet's. Wow, that does look good, I thought as I smiled at myself in the mirror. I tied it off a little higher than yesterday with a red scrunchie and went down to breakfast. Dad must have been extra sleepy this morning as he didn't have his shoes on. He was wearing Mom's scuffs, not her flat ones but the ones with about a 2-inch wedge heel. Dad, I said, I think you'd better change shoes before you go to work. Oh, for heaven's sake. Yes, these wouldn't do at all, laugh, but I find I like the little bit of heel, Jack. They're a little small, but maybe you would too. I don't know about that, Dad, but if it feels good, go for it. When Dad changed for bed that night, he came back to the kitchen and he was wearing a different pair of slippers. They were definitely women's and with an even higher wedge heel, and his toes were painted a pale pink. He had on his nylon pajamas, at least they looked like his, and the sight gave me a little chill, but I didn't say anything except, "Nice slippers, Dad." Thanks, son. I got them on the way home. Your mom did the nails for me. Like the color? Yeah, Dad, sure, if you do. Yes, it's a nice shade. Thanks. What the heck was with Dad all of a sudden? Well, no matter. I wasn't raised to be judgmental. On the contrary, we were taught to be very tolerant of others. What business was it of mine anyway? Besides, they did look nice in those slippers. That night I brushed out my hair, putting it up at my crown in a violet scrunchie. It looked cute the way it swished around tied up there like that. I looked in the mirror and decided that I definitely would look good with an earring, even better with two. Yes, I want two. I wonder if Janet will let me wear some of her pretty dangles. Jack! What the hell are you thinking? That I'd look cute with more hair and nice earrings. What's your problem, Jack? Dad's hair is fluffy and he paints his nails and wears pretty slippers and, for all I know, those are girls' pajamas too. Don't you want to keep up? I'm not so sure. On one front I'm having a real problem with this, and on another, I'd love to paint my toes too. And those slippers really are attractive, even on Dad. It was over the weekend that I got into real trouble. I mean, not trouble, but Jan has a habit of leaving her lingerie hanging over the shower rod, and when I took my shower Saturday morning, I of course had to take them down. She does have nice taste in lingerie. I really liked that pair of pale blue panties with the wide lace at the top. After I shaved my armpits and got out of the shower, I just had to try them on. I mean, what are sisters for anyway? Oh, I like this feeling. These are great. Whoa, Jack. You just shaved your armpits and you're getting off on wearing a pair of your sister's satin panties. So? I think they're pretty. Sue me. Just then Janet eased into the bathroom. She knew I was probably done because the water had long since stopped running. Well, Jack. Those look real cute on you. Do you like them? I'm sorry, Janet. I didn't mean. Oh, don't be silly, Jackie. I really don't mind if you get with the program. Panties are a lot nicer than those dumb briefs you wear. Would you like a few pair until you can get some? You don't mind? I think I love them. No, why should I? We're siblings, aren't we? Well, yeah, but... Then it's settled. I'll go get you some. Janet returned to my bedroom with 5 more pairs of pretty panties in various shades and styles, for which I thanked her with a hug and a kiss. Me kiss my sister? What's the world coming to? She brought me some other things too, like a nightie and mules like Daddy's, flats and a bra and a shirtwaist dress, and just put them into my closet. This is so strange. I just kind of zoned out. If I thought that was strange, I hadn't seen Dad yet. He came to breakfast Saturday morning wearing a pair of Mom's shorts, his new sexy slippers, and had done his nails in a round shape like Mom and Jan and with shiny clear polish on them. His legs were bare, cleanly shaven, and not bad to look at. His hair was fluffy and looked a lot like Mom's. My first thought was, where the heck did he hide the jewels? Those shorts are tight. My next one was, darned if Dad doesn't look kind of nice in Mom's shorts. His hair and nails look nice too. Can't believe how nice his legs look. Good grooming must be contagious around here. Well, I guess I can get with the program too, as Janet says. I then went back to Janet's room and borrowed an emery board and some pearlized pink polish and some clear. Then I proceeded to do all my nails like Dad's and the girls'. When they had dried, I looked at myself in the mirror again and ran my hand over my butt. Darned if you don't have a nice one there, Jack. Lumpy in front, but I don't think I'll be going back to cotton after feeling how nice nylon is, no way. I wonder if Dad has discovered how nice panties are. I just have to get myself some satiny panties next time I go shopping. I put on the slippers Jan had loaned me to keep up with Daddy and went back into the family room. Way to go, bro, said January. Like them? Yes. Nice job on the nails too. Saturday we lounged around the pool after the grass was cut. We listened to some Eric Clapton and some Janis Joplin. I felt very mellow. Dad wore a tight Speedo suit, or at least what looked like one, and the question of what he did with them came to mind again. He was barely showing, but the suit looked good. Son, when did you begin shaving your armpits? Asked Dad. Oh, just this week, Dad. Just seems cleaner somehow. I think the hair makes them retain BO, don't you? Yes, I do. That's why I'm doing it too. I guess you hadn't noticed. No, I hadn't, but it seems like a good idea. Some of the things the girls do aren't such a bad idea, even if it takes a few minutes now and then. We'd been lying there listening to some Crosby, Stills and Nash. I'd been sunning myself for a while, about an hour I guess, and looked down at my legs. Darn, those are totally disgusting, I heard myself think, and I got up and went into the house. Why I went into the house was a mystery. I already had a drink. Then I headed to the bath. When I got out Janet's shaving gel and proceeded to shave my legs as slick as glass and just like Dad's, putting hand lotion on them afterwards. There. Now that looks cleaner. I just hate bushy legs and armpits, at least on me. I wonder if my legs are as pretty as Dad's. As I looked at my face, the word bushy described how my brows looked to me too, so I took Jan's tweezers and thinned them out a little from the bottom and got rid of the ones over my nose. There. That's better. Much cleaner look. I'll bet TV people and movie stars do this all the time. I fixed my ponytail at my crown with a pink scrunchie and went back to the pool. I really liked the way it swung back and forth when I tied it there. Just a few more inches and it would be brushing my neck as it swung back and forth. I always thought a ponytail was sexy on a girl. I put on my borrowed mules again. I think I like these. Going back out to the pool, Janet noticed my improvements immediately. Darn Jackie, you do have pretty legs, she teased. Thanks, January. I'm glad you think so. I felt so furry all of a sudden. Couldn't stand it any longer. I just had to get rid of all that hair. And you did your brows too. That softens your face considerably, Jackie. Good show. I like the hair up like that too, but would you ask next time you want to borrow my hair stuff, please? Oh, I'm sorry. Sure. I guess I should get my own anyway. That would be a good idea, bro. Does the bra fit? Yes. Thank you. Well then, the dress probably will too. Hope you like it. It's cute. Thanks. Did I just thank my sister for a dress and say it was cute, implying that I would wear it? Yeah, I guess. It is cute though. That evening, since I didn't have a date, Brandon, that's my nerdy friend, and I went to the mall. Now, I really didn't intend to do it, but I steered Brandon into JCPenney and bought 6 pairs of lovely panties and a mid-calf length nightie with a fitted bodice in mint green. It was gorgeous. Brandon was a little stupefied. Jack, are those for your mom or Janet? Neither, Bran. Who then? Me, of course. And while we're at it, I want to get my ears pierced. Do you mind? No, Jack, I don't mind, except I never knew you liked girls' stuff before. I wouldn't tell this to another soul, but I kind of do too, except I'm afraid to do anything about it. I'm proud of you, Jackie. Well, that's a relief, Bran. I was afraid you'd bail on me. Let's go get me some pretty studs. Wow. I can't believe the conversation I just had with Brandon. I also can't believe I bought myself a slinky nightgown right in front of him either. I hope it feels as good on as it did in the store. We did go to the piercing both, and I got some plain gold studs. I also got some cubic zirconia for after they healed, but for now, I didn't know how much I could get away with at school. I still had a few weeks to go before summer vacation. We also stopped by the dollar store and got some hair care stuff. I picked up some scrunchies and pins, a few ribbons, and a silk decoration that clipped in when you wore your hair up, along with a comb for a French braid. All the while Brandon was carrying on about how jealous he was, but I didn't see him doing anything about it. I really don't know what came over me, but we ended up in the Payless shoe store, roaming through the 8 to 9 aisle of the women's section. Janet had put a pair or two of pantyhose in my sock drawer, and I had a pair on. Brandon was bouncing off the walls as I tried on cute shoes. I finally settled on a pair of black calf flats and a pair of medium brown loafers with a slightly built-up heel and a size 8. Okay, it was about a 2.5-inch heel. They were cute and I figured I could get away with wearing them to school. Why did I want to wear girls' shoes to school? Why was I wearing panties and pantyhose? Why? I wore the loafers out of the store and home. The cashier wised off at me, I think. He asked, "Would you like a purse to go with those, miss?" On the one hand, I wanted to belt him. Oh, the other, I thought it was sweet of him to ask. The way I had my hair done and the earrings. Oh, my. Was I androgynous? The shoes were easy to get used to. No problem at all, and they made my feet look a size smaller at least. They also made me as tall as Brandon, who, in reality, isn't very tall either. I had to shake my booty all the way home though. The real surprise was when I got home about 9. Mom and Dad were sitting watching TV in almost matching lounging outfits. They were both wearing peignoir sets and mid-heeled mules. I was sure he had panties on underneath. Dad looked like he had on a little blusher and a light lipstick too, not to mention the top of his gown was appropriately pushed out. I couldn't contain myself all of a sudden. I lost control, but not the way I'd expected. I gushed. Me? Daddy, you look wonderful. Just wonderful. That looks great on you. Is that all Mom's stuff? No, your mom and I went shopping too, although not locally. I see by the packages you did too, and those are cute shoes. Going to wear those to school? Yes. And you got your ears pierced. Good for you. We were wondering when you'd get around to it. You and Janet can share earrings now. What else did you buy? Just some panties and a nightie and the shoes. Oh, and these cute flats. Want to see? Yes, honey, model for us, said Mom. I showed them the flats and they made appropriate noises. Okay. I'll go up and change. It took me a few minutes, but I put on my new nightie and the padded bra Jan had loaned me, put on my new flats, and then let my hair down and brushed it out into its natural waves. It hung past my shoulders and was very shiny. Well, if Daddy can wear lipstick, so can I, and I proceeded to use a little of Jan's plum rose. She'd probably have a hissy fit, but I could get my own. Good thing she was out on a date. I thought I looked rather cute. Definitely girlish but cute. OH, Jackie, you look darling, doesn't he, Lou? You really do have potential, son, said my dad. I think you could be almost as pretty as your sister, don't you, Eleanor? I do, Lou. And you are looking awfully cute yourself. You should both embrace this clean new look and let it grow on you. I'm sure you'll come to love all these soft, pretty things you both are trying out. Mom, that's exactly what I'm scared to death of. I don't understand myself at all. If Daddy and I aren't careful, he could lose his job and I could end up in the hospital. Well then, we need to just keep this self-improvement program of yours mostly at home for a while, don't you think? At least the more flagrant things like makeup? Yes, honey, said Daddy, that just makes sense. We can enjoy these nice things at home and be our old, dumpy selves at work and school, okay, Jackie? Sure, Daddy. Whatever you two think is best. I slept to the rocking sounds of Santana that night. Well, I never slept in a gown before and never had one swishing around my shaved legs before and never wore sexy slippers before, but I confess, I loved it all. And I loved the look the blush and lipstick gave me too, especially with my hair down. There was no getting away from the fact that both my ears were pierced though. Well, I could deal with that. Janet caught me bumping into walls the next morning half asleep in my new nightie and still with my makeup on. She looked just a little surprised but said, "Well, Jackie, you look very comfortable. How do the mules fit?" "Almost perfect, January. Thanks. I think I'll get myself a pair. I like them and Daddy seems to like his a lot too. I hope you don't mind me borrowing your polish and makeup." "No, not really, hon, but you should be careful when you borrow makeup. What you borrowed is smudge-proof. Your lips are stained until tomorrow more than likely." "Oh well, I'll make the best of it." "Thanks, I'll remember that." Sunday we all went to church at 10 a.m. Daddy and I were wearing our panties and hose and I did my hair just a little. I mean, it was Sunday and we were going to church. I don't think I looked too feminine even with my pink lips. Neither did Daddy. Judging from the occasional stare I got, I may have been wrong. Monday morning we all did our usual thing except for a few minor adjustments, like I couldn't take out the studs, but I didn't tease my hair much either and I took the polish off my hands. I just put on a coat of hardener so they would resist breaking. Of course I couldn't hide the way the nails were shaped. A few noticed the earrings, but only a couple of the girls made a point of it, none of the guys. A couple of the girls noticed my new shoes though and told me how much they liked them on me. Barbara wanted to try them on so I let her and they fit her. Carol noticed my pantyhose then and just winked at me saying, "Jackie, you shouldn't go barefoot. Put on Barbara's Mary Jane's while she has yours on." "Oh, Carol, I couldn't. They're really cute, but I just couldn't. What if she didn't want to trade back?" She just smiled back. Maybe I had a friend. The girls did seem friendlier though, and I hung with them a little bit on Monday. I was a slight kid, what you would describe as non-threatening in girl talk, so they didn't have a problem with me. A couple also noticed my eyebrows and told me I looked sweet. I told one, "Thanks, Lori. I'm trying to clean up my act and dress nicer and take care of myself a little." "You really like the look." "Yes, Jack. I think it works for you. You're beginning to look a lot like your sister Han. Don't give up until you complete your look. You have to find what works for you. The high heels are a nice touch too, but the Mary Janes would look cute too." "Gee, they're not too high, are they?" "Just right, Han. You're still only about 5 feet 8 inches with them on. You should get some more cute shoes and wear them. You'll be fine." Oh, if they only knew how sweet I was becoming, for what reason I could not fathom. Tuesday night Dad came home and changed into a pair of short shorts, a blouse with bra and a pair of skimmer flats. Flats! They looked a lot like mine. Geez, he was really getting cute looking since he started caring for himself and embracing his feminine side. "You look nice, Daddy." "Thanks, Jackie. I feel great." I noticed that he had also plucked his brows, and I would swear he had on a little mascara in addition to his lipstick and blusher. I think he could be almost as foxy as Mom. Wow. I'm thinking of my dad all dolled up in women's clothes, a dress, high heels and all, and with boobs. Am I nuts? I think he would be major cute though. Wednesday became Thursday and then Friday, and the weekend was upon us again, and all the while, we had been enjoying Mom's gift of music. I just loved these tunes, and by Saturday had played all 15 over 3 times around, including continuous loop overnight. After chores, I went up and cleaned myself up and put on some fresh panties and fixed my hair. I'd shaved my legs and pits and did my nails and hair by the time everyone was ready for our joint shopping trip. We started off at the discount department store, the really big one with 1,100 outlets, and got a lot of things there. What were we shopping for, the 4 of us? Soft, pretty things. Things that made us feel good or look good, of course. Janet helped me with my makeup purchases and Mom assisted Daddy. We all got some undies, including a couple teddies, slips, bras, skirts and blouses, hose and another gown or two. Then Daddy and I went into the men's room and put our thigh-high hose on, and we all went to the shoe department and got some slippers and flats and Oxfords and some other shoes that could pass for boys, sort of. And I did get myself a pair of those cute Mary Janes. We also got some pretty heels. Of course, we tried them all on when we thought no one was looking. I got such a rush when I tried on my first pair of high heels. I got very excited, obviously, so I'm afraid. Jackie, my mother cautioned. Just look at you even in your tight panties. I'm sorry, Mom. I can't help it. Well, if that's how you're going to react, maybe we better get you something to calm you down, the both of you. I'll go see about that next week. I swear, I can't take you two anywhere, she kidded with a big grin. Oh, cut that out, Mom, I retorted. We'll be okay as soon as we get used to feeling like this about pretty things. We had a real fashion show when we got home, and Mom talked Daddy into getting his ears pierced before we got home too. Would you believe? Mom took Daddy in hand and Janet took me, and we all went and got decked out to the max. Janet was very patient with me, showing me all about makeup. She was really very sweet about it. I was so glad I hadn't started to shave yet. My complexion looked good after I covered a couple zits. Janet rolled my hair for me, putting me under the drying, and then I got into my new undies, hose and heels, and my new 34B bra with some falsies and one of her casual party dresses. She did my nails in a rose cream to match my lipstick. Go look at yourself, Jacqueline darling, she said. Jacqueline? You are far too foxy, sister mine, to be a Jack. Go look. I was stunned. She was right. Moem was right. I could be a major fox if I took the time to dress and make up like a girl, but, Janet, this all took 2 hours to do. Well, little sister, now you are getting the idea. Pretty comes with a price. It takes time, effort, know-how, a little talent, and of course your prettiest things. I don't know about all of this, January. What's with Daddy too all of a sudden? He's acting awfully girly lately. It's not just the clothing. Am I doing that too? Want the truth or not, Jackie? Truth. Of course you are, Jackie. How could you not? You are both going to become more and more feminine to the point that you can't pass anymore as boys. Isn't that what you want? There was a long, very pregnant pause while I digested what I had just heard. Oh, Jan. Yes, that is exactly what I want. I want to be surrounded by everything feminine. What is the matter with Daddy and me? Why don't you ask your father? Louise should be ready by now too. Let's adjourn to the family room, little sister. I walked as gracefully as I could in 3-inch heels, wiggling my butt just like Mom and Janet. I knew I looked darling, but how would Daddy look? And how would I react to seeing my father all decked out as a woman? Why did we want to do this? Why did we crave all these feminine things? Why were they sexually stimulating to us? Oh, Daddy, you look adorable, I cried. You are one foxy lady. Thank you, sweetheart. You are just as pretty as your sister. I knew you could do it. Not without Janet's help, but just look at me. It took 2 hours, but I feel wonderful. So do I, Jackie. So do I, she said. My father was gone, replaced by this lovely mid-30ish woman. Except for her voice, which was different, I would never know she was my daddy. And she acted so feminine, just perfect, I thought. And Jan said I was acting feminine too. Oh boy. No wonder I was so well received by the girls. Daddy. Call me Louise, honey. Really? Yes. It's a little more than ridiculous to call me daddy when I look and feel like this. Well, do you have any idea how we got to be like this? No, Jackie, but I'm really afraid it wouldn't help even if we did know. Why not just try to forget about that and go with the flow? I'll try to, Louise. We lounged around another hour or so, if you can call a mutual admiration society lounging. I got in a lot of practice in my black calf pumps. I loved to hear the tap on the tile floor, and I was getting comfortable with the whole picture of myself as a girl. I loved all these pretty things, and Janet loaned me a pair of her long dangle earrings too, as did Mom with Louise. My hair looked great in soft waves falling about my innocent face. We could be 4 good-looking babes. Well, after that night, Daddy and I, that's Louise and Jackie, never looked back. We did our best to pretend to be Louis and Jack at work and school, but I could feel that it was a losing battle. Daddy was acting more and more like a woman, and he never wore anything masculine around the house anymore, and as little masculine clothing as possible to work. I actually tried to fight this overwhelming feeling, but in the end, it was no use at all. Mom did get us something to calm us down. It was some purple pills she had us take. We began with 1 a day, then 2, then 3, then 4 over a period of 4 weeks, then stayed at 4 a day. Finals were long gone. It was coming up on the 4th of July. Strange things were happening to my body and mind, and I'm not sure I was that much more calm. Jan, why is my chest sore and hard underneath? Don't you know, Jackie? Gimme a break, sis. If I knew, why would I ask? Oh, all right. Your milk glands are developing is all. Nothing to worry about, but by the end of summer, you'll have to wear a girl's swimsuit. You are growing a nice set of hooters, sis. Is the other stuff shrinking yet? How did you know about that? Just a guess. It is then? Yes. Good. Then your new titties won't have to fight so hard to come to the surface. My what? Gee, Jacqueline. Didn't you hear me? Hooters. It's not just about clothing. Don't you get it yet? You're turning into a girl. So is Daddy. You have made a few girlfriends at school and they love the new you, I might add. I've talked with them and explained the situation. There's a new girl on the block, sis, and she's you. Well, ladies, I fainted dead away. It was a good thing we were in Janet's room and she had thick carpet. I woke up with Janet kneeling over me and a washcloth on my forehead with my bangs brushed back. What happened? I suppose you went into shock when you heard you and Daddy were turning into girls. Neither of you ever appreciated what Mom and I go through to be pretty, so now, you do, don't you, Jackie? Sitting up, I said, this was some kind of revenge thing, Janet? You and Mom did this to us? Of course, sweetie, but we did you a favor. We wanted you both to understand, and what better way than to become one of us? You're both going to love becoming women. You'll see. You don't act anything like a boy anymore, sweetie. In fact, you are now incapable of it. The boys at school must think you are really fruity by now, especially when you try to pass as Jack, so give it up. I'm sure the girls will tell them soon though, so you won't have to worry. You'll just be another chick at high school, and you may as well start going to the summer dances in a skirt. You're going to spend the rest of your lives married to a vanity table just like us. At least you'll never have to shave. Louise will have to have her beard taken out. MOM. I ran screaming in my new feminine voice into the kitchen and almost tore the slim skirt I was wearing. I was in tears, of course. What's the matter, honey? I sat down sobbing. I think you know very well, Mom. Oh, that. I think we'd better wait for your Aunt Louise to get home and we'll discuss it then if you still want to. And, of course, that was the end of that for the time being. Louise did not want to discuss it. She was having too much fun. Louise and I weren't rocket scientists, but it didn't take one to figure out that we were taking female hormones and that our breasts and bums were expanding predictably. My pelvis would actually grow into childbearing proportions. I'd be in a real B cup by August, and so would Louise, if not more. I just never got enough of that 70s rock and roll. Just couldn't stop listening to it. I played it almost every night and, according to Louise, so did she. Hey, I'm not a complete dope. You can't refer to a fox like Louise as daddy. SHE or Aunt Louise would have to do from now on. I was into an honest A+ cup with nice, big brown nipples by the end of July, and Louise was working on a B. Janet had confessed that she had talked to the girls, so I didn't even pretend to be Jack anymore, especially around Brandon. He went out with me all the time and it gave us both an ego boost. For me to have a boyfriend and him to have a girlfriend, something he never had, was quite a stretch. Jackie, I confess I can't even remember what you were like as Jack anymore. You're probably the prettiest girl in our class and we're dating. At least, that's what it looks like. I can't believe nobody has recognized you. I mean, you and Janet look so much alike now. Yes, Brandon. I've wondered about that myself. It's really odd. I didn't have the heart to tell him. The whole school probably knew by now and had us clocked. As I was having difficulties, so was Dad/Louise. She had become very feminine, and Mom was having her wear a waist cincher all the time, which gave her a too slender waist under a man's suit, and her boobs had become hard to hide too. Her tush had blossomed nicely. She looked very uncomfortable when she went to work in drag as Dad. She had electrolysis every Saturday and her beard was moving relentlessly down to the chin. I know, you wonder why we just didn't stop taking the pills. We talked about it, but we had both come to the same conclusion. Whatever device they had used to get us into this position, it had worked too well. We really didn't want to go back to being masculine. We both loved looking and acting like we did. Mom and Louise were having a blast as girlfriends, and I had never gotten along better with Janet or my girlfriends at school. I love all my pretty new things and being pretty and popular. I didn't mind the time it took. And time it did take. I had made new friends. I didn't want to be a boy anymore. We both acknowledged that by whatever means, we were stuck. We'd just have to play this out to its logical conclusion. No matter what we thought on an intellectual level, we both knew that we loved what we were becoming and didn't want to stop now, couldn't stop now even if we really wanted to, which I don't believe we did. Louise was becoming a downright beautiful, mature woman. She was going to be fighting off guys with a club, and me, well, I was having similar problems in my own age group. A couple of the boys at the pool had come right up to me and asked me by name for a date, calling me Jackie. They were serious too. We had evolved indeed into a couple of babes, but it was sure a high-maintenance business, just as Janet said. It took time. Oh, if we just kept our mouths shut. Will men never learn to keep their mouths shut? If this happened to more of them, I'll bet they would. Finally, push came to shove. Louise and I had to make some decisions. Would she try to keep up appearances as Louis Fenton, or would she pull out the stops? Could I go back to Prentice High, or would I want to or have to switch schools to stay alive? There had always been a couple bullies that liked to pick on Brandon and Jack, and when I showed up on campus, what would happen then? Death by hanging? A lynch mob? Or would the girls protect me? I rather felt like they would. We returned to school the day after Labor Day. I returned as Jacqueline and Fenton. I wore a simple print dress with scoop neckline and short sleeves with pearl accessories and my black calf flats. I made up as pretty as I knew how, letting my long hair flow in cascading curls about my face. My voice had matured into that of a young woman. I was no longer Jack, hopelessly caught in femininity forever. Stuck in this alternative universe. The girls were so wonderful. They welcomed me to the club. I got asked out by 3 boys and accepted one. He was a hunk. Carol urged me to say yes. I did. That begins another story. Daddy/Louise was in big trouble. She couldn't pass anymore either. Louis might as well be dead as Louise took over his body. She was lovely. She was also a vice president, and her boss, Alan Greenfield, was a very nice man. Somewhat of a lech, but a nice man. Lou, would you come in here please? Sure, Alan. What's up? You tell me. Just look at you. If I weren't married, I'd ask for a date. Why don't you just undo that hair, put on a skirt suit, some makeup and some heels and be done with it? That obvious, huh? You've got to be kidding, Lou. You've been round the bend since July. My guess is that's quite a figure you're hiding under there. What's the wife have to say about all of this? She's fine with it, Alan, really. She helps me a lot. What are you going to do? I'm going to recommend that you be transferred across the bay. What do you want to be called? Louise will do. When do you want me to dress in my power suit? Tomorrow will be fine, Louise. You are a very badly kept secret around here. You're so damned feminine you put my wife to shame. I'll take that as a compliment. Thanks. You're not really upset? I really didn't have much choice about this. I really don't understand that, but no, it's okay. I have a feeling you'll do even better now that you've come to terms with this. I always thought you were a little too good-looking to be a guy, you and Jack. Funny you should say that, Alan. Jack caught this disease too. He's now our daughter Jacqueline and looks very much like Janet. They're both very pretty. It figures. So, Aunt Louise was transferred and I went on to become a cheerleader. That's what pretty girls do in high school, isn't it? We both had ceased to function in any meaningful way as males, and so, with the help of our therapist, we applied for sex reassignment. Louise went first during her vacation and I also during mine the following summer when I turned 17. I'm sure my boyfriend Josh appreciated that move. He sure likes to pet as much as I like to be petted. My parents now live as domestic partners, which is recognized in our state. Mom? Yes, Jackie? Please tell me how you did it. Oh, that again. You never give up, do you? All right, now that you are a girl and appreciate what a girl goes through for a man, I'll tell you. Music. The tapes? Sure. I told you they were cheap, and for what they were cheap at any price. Giggle as far as I was concerned. You and your daddy never had a chance. I got them from a girls' school for boys. All they did was enhance our femininity, but for you too, they gave you femininity in spades. All you want to wear is skirts and dresses. Once you had played them twice, you were irrevocably hooked with no way back, and you must have played the entire set 12 times in 3 months before you tired of them. All the while you were being reinforced, desiring more and more femininity. Now, I have another beautiful daughter and a lovely companion who understands me completely. How good can it get? Brandon loves rock and roll, Mom. Mind if he listens to them? I just know he'll love them as much as I did. I suppose so, honey. He'll really be better off. Oh, goody. And I raced up to my room to give Brandon the present of his life.